Hello, YouTube family. So we are here, gathered as a one, and I'm going to wait for a few more people to join us from Instagram. Thank you for joining me tonight. We are going to be like a symphony of cosmic energies coming together as a one to create a beautiful symphony. And yes, all right, I'm going to close my Instagram and I'll see you guys soon. Hello, everyone. So we're going to give it a few more minutes, but first I want to extend my appreciation for all of your donations, your support. I've been responding to every single one of your emails with a personal message. I feel like that personal touch is really important because when I see your name, when I know you, I'm able to transfer very particular codes to you, even through a short email, because that's the power that we hold from within. We are transmitters, we are transducers. We are these incredible devices that can transmit light codes. Carol Chapman, I see your little comment saying, I don't like you. And I understand. And if you don't like me, I ask you to like yourself and leave. That's true self-love. And I encourage people to always follow their resonance, right? The reason for this is because there are people in this world who are going to gel with you and people who are not going to gel with you, and that's okay. I've even had people that I've worked with in the past that outgrew me, and I was happy for them because this journey is about empowerment. It's about saying, I honor that you don't like me. I don't like me sometimes, and if maybe I'm not, different strokes for different folks. So I say, just honor yourself. And rather than spreading hate, instead, redirect your love inside because I know it's there, and then honor yourself enough to step away. So thank you guys, for the donations today. I see that Strange Fizz sent me a donation and Soul Renovations. I appreciate you, and Karen. So I'm going to give you a briefing in relation to the energies that many of you are experiencing at this time. And we're just going to kind of go with the flow today. We're going to ride the waves like the cosmic surfers that we are and see where this takes us. Thank you, Veronica, so much. I appreciate you. So for about a month and a half now, I feel like things have been really bumpy. They've been really rocky. And it's as if you can be connected to bliss and ecstasy and magic 1 minute, and then the next minute you drop back down a few floors vibrationally, and then you're confronted with things that don't always feel good to you. Things that are actually, it's not that that you don't like them where you're trying to bypass them. It's more so that you've been there before and your preference is to not do that again. And there's nothing wrong with that because we are here in this reality of contrast to gain further clarity as to what meshes with us and what doesn't mesh with us, what floats our boat and what doesn't float our boat. So you may find that right now, your emotional body is in constant fluctuation, okay? And when you're confronted with things that don't necessarily feel good to you, meaning that you're not afraid of them, you're not trying to bypass them, your preference, though, is that you don't necessarily want to engage with them, there's like a temporary moment or like a few hours of like, this is so boring to me. I just want to get back up into that frequency of my liking and reconnect into my magic. So the thing is, your emotional structure is very much, hold on. I'm gonna, yeah, all right, cool. I just have to get rid of a troll real quick because I just want this place to be positivity. I do this to be of service to humanity and to assist you in any way that I can. So I prefer It's a preference. I prefer to not have trolls online. Yeah. So, all right. So, anyways, the message I got is that you're constantly fluctuating in your energy right now. And I'm going to share a personal story with you that's happened to me recently, just so that you can relate. And then you can kind of tie it with your own story, or maybe you'll feel some resonation there. So, as you guys know, I've moved recently and I made a new friend who is not an interior designer by any means, but he has great taste. And I told him, hey, I'd love to maybe pay you for an hour of your time and buy things online and then get it done, right? I'm a very like boom, 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 boom kind of guy. And he's like, no, don't be silly. I'm happy to help you. And I feel like our universe really wants us to start accepting help, to receive. I think that in an older format of reality, we weren't always supposed to receive help because we saw that other people had agendas or a lot of conditions attached to it. And so we eventually went, okay, well, I'm going to figure it out on my own. But we don't want to always stay there because we're here as a collective to help each other and assist each other. And one of the biggest downloads I got the last few months was that it's okay if I'm not good at certain things, right? It's okay if, let's say, cooking isn't my strong suit. My strong suit and the frequency that I'm here to personally contribute is esoteric, right? So my happy place is I'm almost like a little boy who wants to get back into the forest, into my treehouse, and meditate and link with my guides and develop these technologies that we have access to from other dimensional planes of existence, integrate them in the system to better serve humanity. So that's my happy place. And every time I think of meditating, every time I think of going on my walks, my entire body fills up with excitement. And my guides reassured me, 2 months ago, that maybe that's okay. Maybe we're not supposed to do it all. Maybe you're supposed to do you in the best way that you can, and to master what excites you and continually refine yourself in that particular domain. But that as long as you're in your human body, you only have so much time to allot to certain things, right? So you have some time maybe to do some exercise. You have some time to maybe take care of your family. You have some time to maybe have a meal or two or three. And then the rest of the time you want to allocate it to really refining yourself in whatever it is that brings you joy in life, whatever it is that brings excitement to the mix. And so for me, it became really apparent that it was like, I'm here to be a mystic. This is what brings me joy. This is what enlivens me. This is what fertilizes my inner soil, is to be able to connect with my abilities. And we all have abilities that are respective to our personalized mission. So it doesn't make me more spiritual that I like to work with these different galactic technologies in my third eye and to increasingly heighten my awareness. It just means that I'm choosing to invest my time and my energy in that, no different than if someone was a video game player and they chose to really spend their days becoming the best player at Smash Brothers, and then they become the master of that realm, right? And you might be a mom and you're an exceptional mom and you do it so well with so much consciousness and with so much love and with so much care and with so much attentiveness. And that's what you're mastering, and it brings you joy to be a mom. And so it's really dawned on me that we're here to help each other. You may be really good at something or really skilled at something, and I may not be so skilled at that because I don't pour my time and my energy into that. Okay? So this person came into my life, and this was a new friend, and I said, I'd love to pay you because I'm one of those guys, if you knew me personally, I go to lengths for people. Like, I'm one of those guys that will tip someone randomly a good amount, a good chunk of money, just because to honor their soul, to let them know I appreciate you for pouring my coffee every day when I come to this coffee shop. I'm one of those guys. And I'm not saying that to toot my own horn. I'm not. I'm just one of those guys who understands that money is simply just vibrational currency to honor someone's soul. Money has a completely different meaning for me than it used to have. I used to be the guy that was so broke that when I would go to Chipotle with my friends and they were like, "Are you gonna get guacamole?" I'm like, "Guacamole? That's $2 extra. Hell no." Right? Like I was so pinchy penny. I was pinching every penny because I was in such a scarcity mindset and I was afraid of money. And what happened is that my life wasn't going my way. It just kept getting harder and harder and harder. And at that point, I had already awakened and I started receiving guidance from my angels and my guides saying, "Hey, Phil, we're going to need you to alter your perception and to start proactively working with us to absolve yourself of this construct of scarcity and poverty." And I used to ask them, "What should I do?" You know? And my guides would say to me, "We're asking you to honor people. Start looking at money in a different capacity. Start seeing money as a way to as a tool. It's a tool." And it was funny back then because a friend came into my life. This was like 4 years ago. Um, and I believe that these different energetic imprints are bloodline. All right. So they're generational. And if you want to take it to another level, they're more than just generational. They go beyond the generational bloodlines. They go back to your past lives. And usually you will select a family that has very similar components that you once had in another life. Because when you inherit their DNA, you're actually inheriting your past life DNA. And then you're able to solve that puzzle. So it is true that it is a bloodline thing because if your parents are cheap or if they're afraid of life or whatever, and my mom was amazing. My father was a little tight with money and he wasn't really present in my life, but I love my father now. We're very close. He's really cool. He's a great guy. It's just that he wasn't really there emotionally growing up. And he didn't instill in me these values of like tipping people to acknowledge them and honor them and value them. It's not about how much money, or it's about the gesture of like, "Hey, I see you. Thank you." So when I made this friend about 4 years ago, I still had a lot of petrified energies, if you will, held within my DNA. And this friend that I had met, who became like a brother to me at the time, made a lot of money. And I had already started making money. But even if you start making money, it doesn't mean that you've cleared your fear. Okay. You can be someone who's poor and has a fear around money, and then you make money, right? And then you're afraid to lose your money. So it has nothing to do with the tangible aspect. This is an imprint that's in your DNA. It's almost etched in your DNA that needs to be recoded and repatterned. So at the time, I had started making money, but I wasn't really confident in the fact that I would be provided for. And this guy came into my life and was like, "Dude, you're making the money." He was like an Israeli guy. Like, "Come on, dude, you're making the money. Let's go out for a nice dinner." And I knew that he came into my life. It's almost like the angels sent him my way, even though he wasn't aware of this fact. The angels sent him my way, unbeknownst to him, to help me take action, because action is required if you want to clear these energies, because they're held in the body. So anything that's embedded in your body, it requires an action, okay, to uproot that energy, to uproot that fearful energy. And I knew that he came into my life because I would take action that was really uncomfortable for me, that would eventually free me and clear my entire bloodline. And it did. Now, to me, money is a tool and it's an offering and it's an honoring. So, yes. Okay, good. So yeah, we'll get back to it in a second. 1 second. Okay, good. All right. So, the good thing about when you start to take action and cooperatively work with your guides to clear these different bloodlines, the good news is it can be a very fast process. It doesn't have to take years. It just has to take your willingness and your cooperation. So back to the story. So this friend that I made a few weeks ago was like, nonsense. Don't be silly. I want to help you for free. And you can bother me as much as you want. If you find something online that you like, furniture wise or mirror wise or art wise, just bother me. I love that stuff. Okay, cool. So I knew that my universe wanted me to receive the help, right? I'm not going to keep saying and reiterating, hey, let me pay you if the person's offering help. So I said, okay, I'm not used to receiving help, but I'm going to go ahead and receive this help. So we got together and I thought that we would be working on this. And it felt like I was pulling teeth to get answers out of this person, right? Like they wanted me to figure it out. Like, what do you want in your apartment? And what do you want? I'm like, well, I don't have a knack for this kind of thing. I have good taste and I'm happy to pick out things, but I don't know where to put them, you know? So they were kind of playing the game of like diverting me back to me, kind of how some channelers do sometimes, or spiritual teachers, like they only want you to focus on you, which is a valid approach. But sometimes you just want a damn energy forecast. Like, hey, what's going to happen in the next few months? Can you tell me? And if your answer is always, well, why are you asking the question? Let's get into that. You're not really answering and serving them. So for me, when I do readings with people, I will use that approach of like, let's go into the blind spot, but I also want to offer you what you're asking for, right? Like that's being of service. So I didn't like this certain dynamic that I had with this person because it felt like I was pulling teeth to get answers when I thought it would just be a 1 hour job. And it turned into a 2 week thing where I would message them and then they would never give me a direct answer. So when we got together, I felt like I don't know if you guys have ever had that feeling where you feel like you're draining someone. And I never feel like I'm draining people because I'm so integral, because I always want to make sure that there's an equal exchange, which is why I think money is a great tool, because money is a way of saying, I acknowledge what you do for a living and I honor you. So this way, we're not going to create emotional bondage with each other. Like scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. Like it's a wonderful tool to be able to neutrally operate within a relationship without getting too emotionally involved and then build resentment and anger and frustration and aggravation. So, but the thing is, if someone tells you, I want to help you, like I'm doing a video for you guys for free right now. I'm here to serve you. Okay, I'm not going to do it partially. I'm going to do it entirely with my entire soul, right? If you guys donate, I'm appreciative. If you don't, I don't expect it. That's me stepping into service. And the same goes for my readings. If someone books a session, I'm punctual, I'm never late, and they have 110% of my attention the entire session, which is how it should be. That's how we operate as conscious creator beings, because we understand that what you put out is going to come back to you. Yes? So you always want to show up with that highest integrity. So, anyways, so then I had this thought, and this is going to blow your mind. It blew my mind. All right. I kept feeling like I was draining this person. And I was like, but wait a minute, I'm not someone who drains people. So something's not adding up. Something's not computing. And my guide said to me this. Are you ready? This was so powerful. And we have 847 people in the house. I'm so grateful. My guide said to me, Phil, oh wow, Phil, it's not that you're draining this person. Yes, you are. But the reason you are is because they're doing something that's not in alignment with their truth. Meaning that they're draining themselves. And because they're draining themselves, you are that reflection and you're draining them. Woo! Like, right? Like law of attraction. So did you guys get that? Did you catch that? It's really important. It's not that I was draining this person. What it was that they were doing something that was out of sync with their true self. And anytime you do something that's against your truth, you're going to drain yourself. That's how it works. You're going to deplete your own energy. And you're going to attract a match to you that shows you that you're depleting your own energy. And I was that match. So from one perspective, yes, I was draining them, but my nature isn't to drain people. So then it was like my guide said, well, this person wasn't in their truth when they offered you that help. They might have thought they were in their truth, but what if they have some unconscious patterning or some unconscious programming that they're running through their operating system that makes them feel like they're obligated to help people? Like maybe this person feels obligated to help their mom all the time. And it's become their new normal. Like, yeah, I love to help my mom, but really? Or have you convinced yourself that you love to help your mom all day long? So from that perspective, that's not really help. That's you dishonoring what's true for you and eventually building resentment rather than just saying, Phil, pay me and I'll help you. That's what I want, right? Like, let's spend an hour together, get this shit done, and let me give you a check. Even if you're not an interior designer, I'm grateful to you for taking time out of your day to help me. But this thing that I thought would be 1 hour turned into like a 2-week thing where like I kept messaging them and they were responding but not giving me direct answers. So it was really, really powerful for me to see that subtlety. Because how many times in your life have you felt like you were draining someone? And maybe sometimes you were because you were trying to take more than you were giving, but maybe that wasn't the case at all. Maybe it's that they weren't fully stepping into service to serve you, right? We can only go on what people say. So if someone says to you, I want to give you a free session, or I want to go on YouTube Live for you guys, you're going to go on my word, right? But if I'm not really being authentic, then I'm deceiving you. I'm actually unconsciously hooking into you, which isn't fair to you and which isn't fair to myself. But if I'm running unconscious patterning, I won't know that. So I'm not faulting this person at all. What it is that a lot of humans have these solidified patterns that they're running through their 3D operating system that they're unaware of, which causes them to do things that are not in alignment with their truest and highest self. And then that precipitates into attracting people, right, that they create bondage with, which is never going to advance you in your life. So why is this happening to us right now? Why is it that these different aspects of people are being brought to the light? Why is it that your twin flame? Why is it that some of your friends are now showing you colors that they have, like their true colors or different aspects or different facets of who they are presenting themselves and being brought into the light? It's because nothing can be hidden any longer. Nothing. Because we've done our due diligence to really integrate the quote unquote dark side, which the dark side is really just unresolved trauma that you then integrate it and then it's not dark, right? Dark was our perception of it being dark, when in actuality, it was us neglecting an aspect of ourselves that needed our love. So when we refer to it as the dark side, what we're really saying is it was a side to us that was parched, that was thirsty for our love and for our attention and for acknowledgement. And we perceived it as bad because we weren't willing to take it in and give it the love that it needed. So the thing is, there's a lot bubbling up within the collective right now. A lot of different aspects of people are going to show themselves and they're not going to be pretty. All right. So now, guess what happened next? Last night, I messaged this person. I said, hey, so I found 3 TV consoles that I really like. I'd love your opinion. And guess what this person replied? What would you do without me? What would you do without me? And that's where it was like, whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. You see, the message that came in was that, and believe me, I'm someone who has very sharp discernment. All right. The reason why I became independent in my life and I fought for my freedom is because I knew that no one was going to do it for me. So, in terms of my discernment is on fleek. I have no problem seeing right through things, but I also want to be open and receptive to receiving help from humanity, because what it is that we're starting to pull together like a symphony, and we're all going to acknowledge that you have a strength that I don't have, and I have a strength that you don't have. And maybe that's okay. Maybe we don't need to change it, because if we try to change that, it's going to take time away from us mastering what we're good at. It's going to take time away. So if you're a great chef, I'm not going to say, oh, you need to step out of the kitchen and learn how to become an interior designer. I'm going to say, yo, stay in the kitchen, make an amazing meal, get better at that, and I'll go pick out what you need and we'll work together as a one. You feel me? To me, that's the highest form of understanding how we function as a collective. So I'm now open, my heart is open to receiving help. But, and in terms of this person, I'm not going to receive it anymore because my discernment is on fleek and I got all the intel that I needed to not proceed anymore, right? I don't want to proceed. And we'll get into that in a minute. Okay, we'll segue into that. But when this person said this, what would you do without me? It was like ding, 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 ding. There it is. There it is. It means that humans, a lot of unconscious humans, what they do is they set up these different systems of energy to keep themselves afloat. And let me elaborate on that. A lot of humans are not actually receiving their energy from source. What they're doing is they're creating these different networks or these different systems where it's like, hey, you need me, all right? And then you over there need me as well, and you over there need me as well. And we're all going to create this codependence amongst each other rather than connecting from within and getting aligned with our truth and pulling our energy from source, the source that we are, that source of light that we are. So what happens is people set up these different systems. Think of like a community of people who are always complaining about their lives. That's a perfect example. And just so you know, as I share this message, I'm not mad. I'm just sharing it because a lot of what I channel are themes that are going on in the collective. And as a conduit and as a messenger, my universe makes me go through things that pertain to what other people are experiencing. And it might look different, but it still has the same energetic. So a lot of people will, I'm going back to that example of like the victimization or the people who create community and all they do is have a pity party. That's a perfect example that is proportionate to this idea of like, let's create like an energetic hub and then we'll all feed off of it. Right? We're going to generate more of our fear, more of our misery, more of our sadness, which are all low vibrational emotions. And that's how we're going to energize ourselves. It's very much like drugs. So the message I got overall is that right now we're being shown how people expose themselves and how that's not going to fly anymore. Right? Because we've done so much of the legwork to anchor in, to install those higher dimensional crystalline grids. And because those higher dimensional crystalline grids override the lower frequency, anything that's of a lower vibrational nature is not going to be able to slide in the door anymore. And so where does this take us now? What does this mean? It means that recognizing that you have a unique frequency to lend to the collective of humanity, and other people also have a very distinctive frequency to lend to the collective of humanity, but we want to align with people who are consciously oriented. People who are like, hey, they're not afraid to unabashedly ask you for money and say, I want to be honored for my time. or the people who are like, I don't want you to pay me, but I want to serve you. I want to voluntarily offer my services. But if you do it with a smile on your face, with an open heart, recognizing that by virtue of doing that, you're upgrading yourself as well, right? Because when you tip people in life, when you give to people in life, and you're actually upgrading yourself. You're not only upgrading the other person, which is just another aspect of who you are, you're also upgrading yourself because you're choosing to see them as a soul that is indwelling this physical body, and you're acknowledging the light that they are. So the overall message I got was all of these different things that have been lurking in the background are now going to rear their ugly head so that you can evaluate where people stand. Are they people who are conscious and don't have shame around money because money is just vibrational currency? They don't have shame about anything because they understand that it's a tool. And they're actually respecting you if they ask you for money, because otherwise they would be building resentment, and then that would contaminate your space. So they're actually respecting you by asking for money. They're respecting you. It's their way of indirectly saying, well, they're actually directly saying it. If I don't get paid for my time, I'm going to end up being mad at you, and I love you too much to do that. So why don't we just recognize that this is an abundant universe? There will never be shortcomings. We're just honoring each other, the soul that we are. Okay? So all of these different layers and all these different aspects and fragments are going to be brought into the light so that you can assess who it is that you want to align yourself with, and who you choose is not compatible with what you're bringing to the table. So we're starting to regard each other as light beings, not as physical beings anymore. And the light being doesn't do that game of unconsciously manipulating or trying to hook into or creating all these energy systems that are outside of them, which only originates from lack. When you don't operate within lack, you don't feel a need to create these false energetic systems that will keep you afloat. And if you think of 3D, that's all 3D is. Oh, that just hit me now. Whoa. Thank you, John, and thank you, Athena. That's all 3D is. 3D was when we once operated at a level of consciousness where we needed to depend because we didn't trust God. We needed to create all these contractual agreements with people, places, and things because we didn't really wholeheartedly believe in the depth of our soul that we had a connection to God, to divinity that would always provide for us if we were willing to suspend that other one, which is very physically focused, which is I need you in order to feel injected with energy. That's a form of being a drug user, right? And no judgment to drug users, but it's a form of injecting yourself with a false energy that's coming from humans and their fear and their lack, rather than a very integral transaction where it's like, boom, it's neutral. Money is just money. It's just a currency. It's a tool. We honor each other. That's what we do, right? So that you can have a nice meal with your family tonight. An abundant mindset isn't, oh, I'm spending money right now. An abundant mindset is, how can I support you so that you can go have a nice meal, so that you can go buy nice shoes? That's an abundant mindset. It's not about you. It's about how you're supporting others. And very naturally, that's going to upgrade you because that's the highest form of love, is to be in service to others. And by being of service to others, you're also being of service to yourself, you see? Because you don't see restriction, you don't see separation, you see everyone as you. You see them as God in physical form, right? All these other barriers and all these, no, I really want to help you for free. And then 2 days later you say, what would you do without me? That's not helping me. That's a form of that third dimensional construct of trying to hook into me so that you can take energy, and whether you're conscious of this or not, you're doing it. You're doing it. And the thing about third dimensional humans, what I like to term earth dwellers have so much unconscious patterning that they don't even know that they're being inhabited by other entities that want to create these systems to feed off other humans. Seriously. So why is all of this coming to the light? So that you can really examine who and what you want to align yourself with. That's all. And the other message I'm getting now is your guides, your angels don't want you to shut your heart down and say, oh, because I almost went to that place. I was like, oh, no wonder I never asked for help because people can't help. But then I was like, no, I believe in people. I see the best in people. And I believe in this new earth that I've been anchoring alongside all of you. So I have to believe in my heart that there are people who will be truthful, whether that means that they want to ask for money and help and do it in a pure kosher way, or whether they choose to be of service for free and they still do it in a kosher way and they're fully present while they're doing it. I'm not going to shut my heart down, right? Think of all these movies like Maleficent and all the Disney movies where it's like someone has a tainted experience or they have a really bad experience in life and they shut their heart down and they go over to the dark side. I refuse to be that person. I refuse to be that person. I believe in a humanity that I come from, because a lot of us starseeds come from future timelines. And all we're doing is assisting humanity in uplifting to the next timeline that we originate from, that is built upon new values, that is built upon new systems, that is built upon support and respect and the deepest form of honor. I believe in that world. So I'm not going to shut my heart down and say, because of this, I'm not going to let this one human dictate how I treat other humans. No, I refuse to believe that. Right? And we still have to take people at their word. That's the other message my guides told me. They said, Phil, you did a good job because your old version of yourself wouldn't have believed him. But you actually gave this a chance, you gave this a shot, and you took this person at their word, which is all you can do in life, right? If someone tells you that they're hurting, you have to take them at their word. If someone tells you that they're afraid or whatever in life, you have to take them at their word, right? That's the greatest service we can give to people, is really acknowledge them. So my guides actually patted me on the back and they said, you did a really good job. You offered money once, you offered money twice. The person didn't want it. They said that they wanted to help you and you received that. You know, that was good. I did a good job, but it just turned out to be a bad apple, and that's okay. I'm not going to shut my heart down for that. So, you guys, this is such an amazing time. It's like people can't hide behind their masks anymore. And sometimes they don't deliberately do it. But like I said, they're just inhabited by all these other entities because they've made so many contractual agreements with lack, right? That they're not able to receive their own divinity. So what happens is that they feel a need to create all these false systems to keep themselves afloat. And they don't even know they're doing that. If they only knew, they would be able to extend their lifespan, right? To be able to connect to a higher form of energy that would sustain them in innumerable ways, in unquantifiable ways, right? It's like the energy that we have access to from within is the energy that can really birth new universes. There's no limitation there. So my overall message for you this evening is pay attention to what's coming up. And if it's not floating your boat, if it's not congruent with who you know yourself to be, don't create a new cycle of a cycle that you've once been in, right? We do this thing as humans where we go, oh, I'll just do this one more time. I'll just depend on this person one more time because they have good taste. Or I'm just going to give this person one more chance and hope that they don't cheat on me. We always do this thing where we go just one more time and then, but the then is now, right? This is time to put your foot down and say, enough is enough. I know who I am. I know that I have integrity. And if someone isn't able to meet me or check those boxes where I stand, we're simply not a match. All right. Now I want you to chew and reflect upon all the times that you thought you were draining somebody when in actuality, you didn't think you were worthy of something better. Oh. Woo! Oh, that was it right there. Think of all the times you apologized and said, I'm sorry I was being like this with you yesterday. You don't have to apologize to someone who's in service to you, because that person who's in service to you understands that there's something in it for them, that they're being upgraded every second that they spend with you to be of service to you. How's that? Oh, I'm getting chills. I think of all the times when I was younger where I'd apologize for being a hot mess, for crying. I was only apologizing because those people weren't stepping into service. That's it. So that's my message tonight. Let us start aligning with people of the highest. People who understand that there is no shortage in this universe. People who really comprehend at a soul level that we're all in this together, and that the more that we support each other, the more that we're anchoring in that plasma crystalline grid of energy that will support all of us. So I hope this message helped you. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. Let me just give a shout out to these people. Okay. Thank you, Jesse Wood. Thank you, Sam Murphy, for your donation. Thank you, E. Brock. Thank you to John Butter. I think I already mentioned your name. And I love you guys so much. And I hope this message helped you. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Thank you for your being here. Thank you for showing up on this magical journey. And I also am accepting donations now officially on my website. I'll attach a little below if you feel inspired to make your contribution. And if not, it's all good. You are the contribution, and I love you. And I will speak with you in another version of the now. Thank you, Heather, and thank you, Frezia. I love you guys. I'll stay on a few minutes after this just to chat with you guys. Much love.